Hey guys, Boris here, bringing you another VOD review. The new patch has hit the convergence, therefore let's jump in game with Kurumx and let's see what potential new lines have opened up. We are starting out here with an upgraded Jarvan, and one thing we can consider already is if we are in the spot to possibly play for around Silas, since the unlock changed that you only need to sell a 2-star Silas and a 2-star Garen. We have this Silas, this Jarvan condition already satisfied. But we will have to definitely make a mile to get there, as it is a level 9 comp obviously. Starting out with a Jhin pair as well. Did not exactly hold on to Kiana pair. Kiana being one of the better items, better units to hold on to, since we already had a glove to go with it and would have had a Hodge here, but nonetheless we are able to play around this Demacia opener for now. Could we consider unlocking the Poppy here? Yes, we're going to opt to go for the Poppy unlock. Now, coming up on our augment, we have a Caitlyn pair. We also had a Lowy pair on the bench. Therefore, we definitely have the potential of making quite strong board. We consider playing around some sort of tempo right here. High voltage would give us another form of tank item. Not a bad thing, but generally is a little bit of a weaker augment than the current right now. All the AP holders really want a void stuff in their comps. So I'm not exactly sure if this augment is going to be fully available for our power. Trade sector would be more leaning more into a loss streak, since you're going to be able to roll for that bar and able to potentially spike on 3-5 with something like a probably Kaisa, but we do not have the spot exactly for it. Or obviously you can also go for another line since it's a flexible econ augment, but generally from a weaker spot. Brother Union on the other hand could give us a option to go for a more tempo play if you're able to hit another upgraded 2-star unit, and we have to hope that we are able to make that level 9, which will synergize with the aforementioned plan of playing around a Silas. Pandora's bench playing into 1/3 roll, and the Earth here is going to would potentially allow us to open to play for a Demacia emblem. However, you do not really want to be sacrificing a full augment to do so in this comp. Therefore, instead we're going to be going here with the Birthday Reunion, and we're thankfully able to hit a Tristana here to be playing around. Now we also have a 2-star Lowy in the shop. Not exactly sure if we're going to be holding onto it. We could, as this would leave our front line more flexible. However, for now we're going to be opting to just playing the 3 Demacia units to be playing into a as our frontline support. Not exactly sure why we opted to hold on to this Lulu rather than making it 2-star Lowy, unless we're just going to opt to go for a full sell here to make 10. Since we are now definitely planning to play around level 10, we do want to be starting making that econ as soon as possible, but still we would want to be able to string together a full streak. But we are here in the upgraded backline with the Crown of Demacia, playing into that Kaisa and also a frontline slam on their side, so they have the item advantage. And unfortunately we're going to be losing the round right here. Then unfortunate for us, we're able to pick up a Sona. Now, we are still quite flexible if we opted to play into this Demacia line. Now, obviously, since just we passed up an emblem is not a problem, Demacia got some nerfs, therefore you do want to get to the extra combo power everywhere else. But the Birthday Reunion could screw that part over, so I would believe we are trying to see if we can string together a fast line board right here. Otherwise, we would have to be just playing off with the tempo provided from this 2-star 2 cost and the TG on a level 8 board. Now, coming up in our carousel, we have an open glove. We have this upgraded Tristana, therefore we'll be considering to potentially be playing into a sword here just to give us another slam that we could make, or a last whisper. Well, the sword is the left option that we have, so we're going to grab it. Also on a 3 cost, very good for our spot to giving the max econ that we can. I'm going to push the levels aggressively here as we want to capitalize on having these upgraded units right away. Now, Tristana obviously in these early fights especially would be looking to want to have some form of attack speed item. That was going to be the strongest option for her. However, the IE should be fine, but we did not remove the Jarvan. Thankfully, we were able to queue into a full player sacking with the Stars Are Born, playing into these Caitlyn's, reminiscent of the dreaded Christmas patch that we had. But I have to warn you that the T-Hex is back already. Kurumx as well, pulling up the TFT Academy right here. Checking out the comp, it's hitting the tier lists, it's there. However, the thing is that you do not want now to, I believe, to play the comp without the Caitlyn 3. The Caitlyn 3 reduces your tempo too much and the stats gain since the nerfs that are just originally hit. The T-Hex does not gain that much of the stat and mana bonus. So instead you want to be ensuring that you are able to get to level 9 to play around the 2-star T-Hex and just rolling on. There's some debate between level 7 and level 8, and just assure that you get to 2-star T-Hex and are able to transition your front line and other units into a 5-cost soup, some kind of way, dropping around to play around either 4 or 2 Piltover. But that's going to be a video probably for a different day. I wish to want to have it done for today, but I was unfortunately unable to find any games that were being played by any of the streamers, as most pro players currently are sitting on today to be holding on to be playing into the next patch, which is going to see quite a lot of unlock changes that I will also be going through once we get there. Now, coming up to our Piltover module at the moment, we have quite sufficient frontline, especially since we're able to pick up this Loris here right away. If you're going to opt to hold on to that, I would assume. So currently, we do want, I believe at this point, we definitely want to be slamming that IE right away here and could slump Sunfire to just stay flexible with our frontline items. For the mods, turned oscillators would force us to be playing into a shielded frontline, which would reduce our flexibility quite a bit. Therefore, we're probably looking for either electrical overload or overclock capacitors. Electrical overflow is going to be the most general option here. So I'd assume we're going to be going for that. And yes, we are. Overclock capacitors perhaps would have been a little bit of a stronger option right away, but we're going to be going for that. Now with the Sunfire, we still have a very flexible frontline that we can be playing around, but the IE Slam does kind of limit us to be playing around either Kai'Sa, Yunara, or Yunara, yeah, since there's not that many other IE users right away, unless you're able to, of course, get to that side. But if your plan is to go to level 9, then we might be able to do so. Now, coming up an augment here, Cosmic Calling. This is the not exactly the ASOL spot either, though the Shojin would be great for a Tristana here. I believe at this spot we're still looking to play off some kind of a win streak augment, something that enables us to tempo right away, right? So we'll be more leaning towards something like a Mace's Will. However, we would be slamming another IE. It's not very satisfying to do. Otherwise, this would be a great thing if we have had the option to slam something like a Striker's Flail. Indecision is a decent augment if you consider if our other options are bad and we are sure that we are either for sure losing or winning next 3 rounds. Now, we are in the win streaks box, therefore we want to take an augment that is going to put more combat power on our board. Probably going to be holding onto Mace's Will since it's just generally more wide open option and so I'm gonna synergize with our IE, right? So just going to go at all here. I'm going to Golemify now. That definitely opens up our options, and yeah, Kurumx seems to think so too. Seraphim Staff would have been more into the AP line. The thing with the Golemify what change is that you do get this 2-star 3 cost right now. We did get the Malzahar now. Doesn't exactly work on items, but we also have the Leeching Nucleus, which is definitely going to allow this Malzahar to do some work. Now, with a Golem, you do want to be playing around some kind of a stall champion. From the old days, we can perhaps recall something like a Zeri. In this set would be any kind of Rageblade carrier, right? That's something that allows you to ramp. And Malzahar is a champion whose kit innately allows that ramp, right? You get these Voidlings out, and even with an IE, he's quite fine. The downside of Golemify, though, is that we just took a big econ hit, right? We had to roll even to full our board with something. And this is the part of the buffs that were introduced. You do get this 2-star 3 cost, just so you have an option to get a unit, and as he be highlighted a little bit here, to get to Malzahar. That is going to allow you to stabilize a little bit, otherwise you just have this chunk of meat and 0 damage on your board, and otherwise requiring you to roll even more. But if you are in this kind of spot where you can capitalize on the win streak, because generally, even though they just got through our Golem, we had the ramp to be able to secure the win here. You are able to convert this into a win streak and make some of that gold back. Now, that was exactly our plan, and realizing how just strong this Golem can be in Storm of Enabling tempo. And in the lower Evo lobbies, even especially since the boards are not going to be as strong, they might just have very big trouble of getting through your beefed up Golem. No, pretty much had to be picking up a tier there, complete Star Sport, and we have this Kog'Maw that we're holding onto that we could also potentially be transitioning right into Kai'Sa, fitting out suits our plan with the IE Slam quite well. And if we're able to close out on the stage, we should be able to just sit on stage 4 to be able to agree to go to that level 9. Thankfully able to pick up a win here, and yeah, still a little bit on the poorer side, but if we're able to close out this stage on a win streak, then we definitely should be quite sufficient in the gold amounts to be able to at least make it to level 9. I'm going to opt to go for aggressive level. We get that TG, so we definitely really want this win. Check the TG here, get the voice that's going to enable us a little bit more damage. We do queue up in an Oreo on one player, so I'm not exactly sure if they would have had the damage, but I believe we scouted our pool and ensured that there is some strong opponent, therefore we need to push these levels. Also, this TG is going to just simply unlock the Kai'Sa right away. Do not need to waste the item remover. We get a stone plate on this Kog'Maw. TG is paying off its price right away, so we're going to be unlocking a Skarner next round as well. Could have opted to be selling this Malzahar at this point, since Kai'Sa is also another backline champion. It's going to be sufficient amount of damage. Going to be removed. Yeah, so going to slot this Kai'Sa in. For our last item, we could have something like a last Whisper Slam now as well. Going to slot in this Skarner, give up on the Defender buff. That's another thing that you can definitely do it for this Golem. Just juice him up even more, but the 2 Defender perhaps being the best thing, just giving the team-wide magic and armor, magic resist on armor, and then the Bruiser buff providing a little bit of an extra HP on it. Are we able to? This is also a very close fight, so I would assume that at this point we're sacking, but the Crown of Demacia does scale. So we have dropped our loss streak, win streak, but at this point we should be in a good spot to be smoothly crazing to level 9, but we are still lower on the econ side, even with this win streak we struck together. For our augment, Crown's Will would be something playing more into an AP comp, while Precision of Grace plays more into AD melee comps. That's why we're probably leaning something like a 3-3s, which is just generally a still very strong econ augment. I still think I believe it's still the best in raw gold value of the gold augments you can hit on 4-2. Yeah, so indiscriminate player, we're not exactly looking for more stats at the moment, and tons of stats. Well, they're not looking for more stats, right? We have the items sorted for our carry. Could consider playing around a potential duo carry with, but at this point we just need econ, right? We're able to push level 8 here with the 40 gold, and if we're able to not take too bad of a losses on this board, hopefully find a couple of weaker plays like this one. Also away from this Fizz, hopefully the Fizz does not make it on our Kai'Sa, but we're able to kill some units now, and unfortunately it does take her out. Still take a 5-unit loss, but we should still be around 30-ish HP in the worst if we do so. Also, what the 3-3s did enable us is provide some immediate units that we could be slotting onto, but we still opted to play the slowest, cheapest board that we could, and we also tagged in Ishtal. Now, downgraded this Milia for even more gold, but we saw we had the option to lose 3 player combats, which obviously fitted our plan. That's why we just picked it. Otherwise, there was the option, I believe, to be able to do Ishtal damage. We did not have a TG that we could transition onto Milio at that round to be doing so. And the 200 cash is just generally going to give us a little bit of an extra resources that we can cap our level 9 board around with. So far, very sound game plan from Kurum, fully enabled by recognizing a tempo spot in the early game and then finding the strongest econ or strongest tempo augment on 3-2 to be playing around with. Able to pick up a Garen pair also now with the chain pickup from the carousel. So we're definitely considering this a Silas plan to play around with. Now we see the T-Hex out there. Going to full sack our board, and this should be an easy win for the player. The T-Hex, yeah, if there's not a frontliner for him, they front-loaded most of his damage, but if there's not a frontliner in front of him, obviously he's still going to be shredding your backlines. Position in a way so that the golem does not interfere. Secured our loss for our 3rd loss now for this quest. We could consider taking Nico, losing 15 player, surviving 15 seconds. However, it would be a little bit tricky, and we definitely do not want to lock ourselves out. Magic resist reach. the 40 cash does not exactly also bring us to any kind of next breakpoint either. Therefore, on alternating, we're not going to be pulling that off at this spot. So probably just cash out here, get those resources, and try to see if we can transition our board as fast as we can to get a non-gold cash out, which is a full item. It's going to be good if we're able to get to our board, but we are still quite poor. Are we going to be able to string together this board on the level 9? Unlocked a Rift Herald as well. As you can see, these fast 9 comps in the encounters that do not provide you with that much extra resources are still quite hard to get to. We are holding on to a Seraphine pair as well that we consider be playing around to if we do not get exactly this Silas online right away. But okay, she's going to be pairing up with this Azir that we do get for our birthday reunion. This opens up us more with even more potential flex plays that we can have. Also unlocked a set here, so we definitely meticulously planned this out, how we could, just playing around max 5 costs, unlock the Silas by hitting the Garen, so just going to slot that in, pair with an eco, giving that Arcanist buff to the team. Slam the Spark for now. Is going to work. Now we would probably be looking to get off this Kai'Sa at this point, but this is most likely just going to be a Senna that we are going to be transitioning into then. Holding on to the set, but you can see we are still so poor once we have made it to this level. So are we going to give up on this Aeonia package? I believe that we are sitting on a Silas pair right now, and we are getting lower on, this whole lobby is getting lower on the HP side, right? So we do want to be hitting something. We cannot be stuck here on the 1 stars. Still figuring out our items. Probably have to be Adaptive Helm, yeah, here, and then just... Alright, we slammed a double anti-heal, whatever. That's what our components made out. Still, yeah, this is the issue of making to the level 9 with so little gold, is that you have to be flexible with your roll down. You have to meticulously plan this out, as Kurum's definitely doing so, but sometimes you just might get stuck on the full 1 star. Able to pick up a Shyvana, so now pretty much a full 1 star board. I do not think that making this Seraphine 2 here was a worthwhile investment. It's 8 gold that we could be still playing around to hitting our crucial pairs, and she's not holding any items for us as we are playing around this Silas core. Now, at this point on the carousel, I believe we are still looking for some kind of option to improve our Silas items. Just going to go for a GS here so we can transition the Protector's Vow to something like the Swain. Great pickup now on the Silas too, but I believe we still want to be rolling close. We are on 2 lives left, therefore we want to upgrade our board as much as we can. Still, unfortunately, like stuck on pretty much low amount of upgrades. Fizz able to get her backline. Well spotted that we can transition the stage, use this investment that we got on the Seraphine, and the Silas is trying to go to work. Unfortunately, the MF is able to take him out and get to our backline with this corner boundary off to the other side. Okay, now we pick up a frontline upgrade as well. Now, generally, with this amount of frontline that we played around right throughout the stage 5, you would get run over, but it's fully enabled by having this golem, having the defender buff, and having the statue that also benefit from the defender buff. So we heavily relied on these augments, right, well spotted, to be able to stabilize our backline, stabilize for our backline, even though unupgraded to this necessary amount of damage. And again, it's the same thing paying off on this fight. Even though we have upgraded units without items, when their damage is lacking, while Silas obviously being a beast, the frontline is currently the one carrying it for us. And we have managed to sneak our way into top 4 with a single life. Now, hopefully coming out to the speedy round, we are able to hit something like a Senna 2 to fully stabilize, and that would be quite good. Unfortunately, haven't been able to find either of these Econ charms on the Zerath as well. The Zerath's true value comes from if you're able to get some of these Econ charms, or obviously Desert Golems that are a free win for you. Able to finally get the Gunblade on the Silas, giving him some healing and generally being a strong option for him. But we only found the Skarner upgrade here, but through a well positioning, but we queued into Baron, but we were able to get to that Kaisa with a Crown of Demacia on the back line, and Silas was able to take her out. Well positioned. Now, going up against DX, a neat thing we could do here is by positioning the Skarner in front of him, because if they're doing the same positioning that they were doing in the last patches, Skarner is able to actually pull the TX in, and the Silas might be able to wrap around him, dodging the beam. Now, again, Fizz got to our backline, but now that with the Silas with a healing on him, is he able to plow through this? It's coming very close. The Swain stun is able to secure the backline so that our Silas is able to heal through with the Gunblade, and they're able to pick up a win here, a clutch win, and we're in the top 2 against the T-Hex player. We still have some upgrades that we could fish for, but unfortunately, again, we are low on gold. Now, meticulously scouting, and we got the last second swap, and yeah, we're able to get us in. So yeah, if you're swapping with if they have this gap here, as you can see, the Skarner is able to pull the T-Hex in, and able to get, the Silas is able to get a wrap on him from the side where he's not being attacked by the beam. Fortunately got taken out by the backline there, but we have bought ourselves enough of time to be able to take them out. This is where we're going to be strong with the juiced up front line, able to pick up a Shyvana 2 from the carousel. Now still have a Fiddle pair that we can consider fishing for, but I'm not going to hit it. However, if we do get this, so we're going to opt and sell the Seraphine. We're able to transition the TG to get it on a Shyvana, well spotted, but very risky play to just be open selling it. But hey, with the disruptor buff, not doing that too much for us. And again, we get the correct side, and the Silas is going to get to the work, stuns the full backline, so this is going to be easy pickings. Very well played by Kurumx here, and displaying that positioning in these late game fights is a key. Just a masterwork from Kurumx, displaying very great spot aggression in early game, recognizing we have a spot we can play for tempo, then finding the best augment that will enable the tempo for us on stage on 3-2, and then realizing that, okay, since we are playing in a plan for Fast 9, we do want to get the most amount of gold, and how we can utilize the cheapest board we possibly have right now to get to level 9 and find our units even on a lower amount of gold, and then winning out the game from there with well positioning and meticulous play around your shops. I would like to thank you for watching, and I hope that you learned something new, as this was definitely a very exciting game, and I wish to see you in the next one. Have a good one.